All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another. Whoa, well, that's a little bit crazy. Getting a little bit of problem with the. Maybe that's too full. Getting a little bit of problem with the. All right, so we're here, and now I have to go run and get another lighter because. Whoa. Okay, that's bad. Well, we heat it to light. Okay, we're gonna. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get me another lighter because that seems dangerous. Okay, here we go. We got the Jetline phaser. We are lighting a fire tonight because it's going to be kind of chilly. It's kind of chilly today. So what's going on, everybody? Okay, that should be pretty good. Just gotta add some wood to that. I've got a lot of construction material wood here that I'm trying to burn. Hopefully this will catch. And some of it's painted with some weather stripping. Like it won't burn the weather strip, but good there's nails, so I hope that's not a bad thing. See, like this, just some construction. All right, we're gonna see how that starts. So, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today? Good to see you. Oh, a lot of comments already. Mom, good to see you as well. Yeah, the fireside chats are back. It's cold enough again. It's cold enough again. What's going on? What's going on? Good, everybody saying hello. Good to see that. Living the dream. Beautiful, beautiful. When does school start? Next week? Turns out my niece doesn't begin her school until the 4th, surprisingly enough. George is already back to work, I think, but I don't think students have come in. Adventures of the Fire Pit. Yeah, here we go again. Here we go. Hopefully, we'll get the fire rolling. That one time was totally like a flop, a totally flop. And we got everybody out here. Excellent, excellent. So, how y'all doing? We're here again outside. We're back from our trip last week. Instead of us being on the road, we're now back at the homestead where we're lighting a fire. And I've got my new light tonight. So, I got a new light that we're going to be trying out. So, last week when I was in, so last week, I guess we didn't talk. I don't know if I talked about this last week, but last week, they had an auction for studio equipment from the old Russia Times studio in Washington, D.C. And I was able to score some lights, and I got this sucker right there. That's one of them. This is the KinoFlow Parazip 400. It's a 4-foot light using 4 LED, not LED, but fluorescent tubes. This is a little bit old technology. It's about 15 years old in technology. But KinoFlow is a company that's really known for studio lighting and for motion picture lighting and for making fluorescent bulbs that are precise for film work or television work. So this is what we call daylight balance. So it's made to 5600 Kelvin with no flickering and no real issues. They also make, 3200 Kelvin which is more incandescent lighting. So really nice quality stuff, and I got it for really amazing deal, like just incredible deal. And yeah, so now we're gonna try it out. I had been using out here a little tiny, panel light, which LED really worked always well enough. So now we're gonna try the big boy, the big sucker, professional, making us look professional here. So fire is getting off, fire's getting on. Hopefully I can keep it rolling. Rusty says school starts Monday, kids on Tuesday. Oh my gosh. And George already started on Monday with the new student orientation. Well, yes, my niece had her student orientation just the other day, last week. Maybe it's last week already. She's going to be a freshman now at Friends. So I think she's kind of excited. I can't believe that she's like 14 or whatever it is. So Rusty's asking, is all this tech going to be the new shop? Yes, the plan is to fly these above from the ceiling down. As you can see here, this is on a C stand, right? And I was working on that this week, trying to see how far. Well, these are what we call 20-inch C stands, so they're actually kind of smaller than the standard ones, right? So the normal ones are 40-inch. They're about double the size of this, and they can reach up. Sometimes some of them can reach up to 9 feet. But this is pretty much maximum extension right now, which doesn't reach the actual. It doesn't reach the ceiling in the new shop, but these will be mounted from the ceiling down because we don't want to have all these stands, creating a potential trip hazard in the new shop because we'll have guests walking through the area. Ooh, the fire's rolling along now, nicely, nicely. I've got all this firewood here, all this building materials, and I just need to feed the fire with this all kinds of messed up wood. Ouch. Hopefully the painted wood's not bad. All right, we're not going to have a great. I'm really kind of anal about building fires. Like I want to make the log cabin. This one is just going to be a little bit hemajang for today. Oh, no students. Well, 1,200 students report Monday. Holy smokes. It's a good thing there that you're the administrator, Mr. Shem. Hello, Mr. Shem. How are you, Mr. Shem? Good morning, Mr. Shem. Dumb question. Is the new shop going to be spelled Spro V3? I guess you could call it V3. Don't put. I guess it could be called V3. I guess it's going to be different. It's going to be a little bit more simple as a carry out, and then the plan later is to have a more sit down experience. Pretty much it'll be kind of a departure from what we've done in the past, but also kind of building on to what we've done in the past, taking it a little bit further. Right. All right. So what are we doing here tonight? We are making coffee. We're making a coffee drink that I've been working on the morning show. And so in the morning show, about a month, at the beginning of the month, I made this. This is a coffee liqueur that is basically Tito's homemade vodka. There's about a liter of homemade vodka with about 220 grams of ground coffee. And it's been sitting there for 3 weeks, just steeping for 3 weeks. And we unboxed it yesterday. And today we mixed it with some sugar to make it more of a liqueur. So, 1-to-1 ratio with the sugar, pure cane sugar, granulated. And there's a little bit more sugar left. Like it was really up to here when we started this morning. And I haven't really shook it since this morning, but there's about this much like still piling on. Sugar is actually fully soluble in water. Like you do not need to heat it. Like all these recipes you see out online, they're like, heat your simple syrup. You do not need to heat your simple syrup. I want to dissuade people from heating their simple syrup. I made a lot of simple syrup over the years. We never heated them. I'm adding more wood to see if we can build a better fire. And so it's just a matter of waiting. Now, what I found with last year, I made orancello, where I had to fortify it with the sugar, and that took a while because I think that the way that the dissolution of sugar into alcohol is just a slower rate. It will fully dissolve, but it does take time and a little bit of encouragement. Encouragement. And Rusty says, I think you're doing the Ono coffee at the 10 a.m. while the shop is open. So once that's all done, I have wondered like how we'll be able to keep it running. And right now the current plan is so that we do carry out in the morning for the morning commute. Really, the idea is that if we can finish all of our sales from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and be done, then we'll close at 10 a.m. That would be, that's like the dream scenario. And then we can do whatever we want the rest of the day. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's kind of the goal at the moment. But is the name outside going to be Spro? Yes, it will be Spro. It might be Spro to go or something like that. I haven't really decided. I'm actually going to talk to one of my friends who's a graphic designer, and she's a little bit more creative than I am. So hopefully she'll have some better ideas because I'm not really that creative. It's terrible. George Brightman's with us. What's going on? Greetings, OL crew, one and all. How are you doing, George? Great to see you, man. Great to see you. So today we're actually doing a cigar because George was telling me about it. I went down to last Tuesday when I was picking up the light. I went down to, I stopped by, I was in DC, so I stopped by Capitol and went to go visit with George. He was there. We had a cigar together. And he was like, hey, there's this cigar that just was rated by Cigar Aficionado called the Puro Sol from Ashton. The Ashton Heritage Puro Sol in the Churchill got 95 points. I was like, 95 points. Holy crap, man. We got to try that for the show. And so I picked up one. Now, full disclosure, George does this thing that's basically like unbanded cigars where you smoke it and you talk about it. And I happened to be there that day they were doing it. And so I joined in that afternoon. And it was the Bellicosa shape of this line. So I have had this cigar in a different size format prior to today. I try usually not to smoke too much of the cigars that we have on the show prior to being here so that so that hopefully my palate is as fresh as it can be. Sometimes it doesn't work out so well. You know, what can you do? What can you do? Yeah, can't wait to test. I can't wait either. I can't wait either. Tony says that Brian says Spro and go. Oh, I like that. Spro and go. Spro and go. We might do that. Okay, so let's talk about this. So we got this coffee liqueur. So I'm using the Perla Negra coffee that we normally use for a cold brew at Spro. This is a anaerobic coffee that has very sweet and milky characters. Why do I look so chubby? This is actually to be honest with you, this is let me raise this up a little bit. This is actually I'm starting on my third hour of live streaming today. Did the live stream this morning on the Ono Coffee channel, the regular coffee Q&A. Did that for about an hour. And then Hoon called me and he's like, hey, would you come on my live stream today? And I was like, sure. Did that for about 75 minutes. And now we're doing this for another 2 hours. So gosh, it's like going to be 4 hours of 4.5 hours of live streaming today. So most of my day has been sitting in front of the camera, babbling away about nonsense. So we're going to have more nonsense. Let's not forget to invite everyone to the next Saturday. That's right, the 31st, for Coffee and Cigars, featuring the skills of our favorite. Oh, thank you. So yes, that next week Saturday, the 31st, we're going to be down at Capital Cigar. We're going to be having coffee tasting with this Guatemala Huehue Tenango that I just received. I've already roasted it, so it's already like chilling and mellowing. Actually, if you saw the last Friday's live stream, that was me roasting and chilling. That's the coffee we're going to use. So I figured we wait 2 weeks, give us a good time to get it out there. And George is picking a cigar, so we're going to have this cigar pairing. And come down if you can. We'd love to have you. And I think your logo ought to be S2G, Sprode to go, but the same initials as the world's. Oh, I like that. I like that. We all need updates when I know. And, usually when he asks me to do it, it's usually pretty quickly. So I don't. It's not like usually we plan on doing a live stream together. He just kind of calls me and it's like, "Hey, man, like today there was a topic about this coffee." So a friend of mine is part of a buying group of geisha coffee from Panama, and so every year there's this thing called the Best of Panama, and they have this auction. And let me start getting this all ready. So we're gonna get this glass, and I'm gonna fill it with ice. Oh, more ice. Fill it with ice, and then we're gonna take some of our coffee liqueur, about 3/4 of an ounce. That looks about right. We're also going to take some mint, fresh mint. It was fresh this morning. So I'm going to pick off some of the mint here. All the mint leaves that are left, we're going to put them in our glass here on the top like that. And I've also got a little bit of lemon. So I'm going to, put the juices, the oils, and then wrap a little bit around and do the bartender thing, right? To that there, put that there. Oh, yeah. And then we're going to add club soda. So I was ordering this morning club soda and seltzer water. Seltzer water is just CO2 and water. Club soda, however, has potassium bicarbonate and potassium citrate added to it. So it's not, there is a difference. So we're just going to add that now. And, what I did not bring out here from the bar is a bar spoon to mix these two, because you see the viscosity difference, because this is much thicker. It needs to be, turned over. We'll just do this. Mmm. Oh, see? Nice and lively. It's got the coffee, it's got the chocolate, it's got sweetness, it's got like the lemon gives it a little bit more of a pop. It just makes it a little more alive. The mint kind of helps it out a little bit. Let's just mix that around a little bit. Uh-oh. Some of the burnt wood is falling out of the fire. There's a little bit of like caulking on here. I wonder if caulking will caulk burn, and like will it give me like diseases? I'm a little bit concerned about that because I don't know where this actually came from or what kind of caulk is on here. That in there, more in there. So the fire's going well. All right, now we've got our drink. It tastes good. Oh, here we go. So yeah, George is saying noon to 3 next Saturday, the 31st. Come down if you have the chance. Love to hang out with you guys. And then, oh no, more craziness. 300 for 2 grams of coffee. Oh yeah, that was crazy. Well, 300 per gram, $300 per gram. So my friend is involved in this buying group that bought the geisha coffee from the Best of Panama. 20 kilos of coffee cost them $10,000 a kilo. So for 20 kilos, 44 pounds, they spent $200,000 on this coffee. And it's reputedly supposed to be wild. So my friend's portion of that, he's the smaller person in it. He got about 500 grams, sold 400 to his clientele, who are paying $300 a gram for the coffee. So hopefully it should be pretty amazing. My friend who owns the company, a company called Paradise Roasters, he's actually, I mean, as far as a coffee talent, he's truly excellent. Like I think he's amongst the best in the world today. So I would trust his judgment on that. When you're burning wood like this, it's a little bit odd. Like it burns strangely. Like look at this thing. It just burns strangely. Luckily the what do you call it? All of it's going up, so it's not like it's just too bright. Like it looks kind of bright. I wonder if I should lower it down. Maybe I'll lower it down. Is that more natural looking? I kind of look a little bit more red. This iPhone camera makes me look red with this light. I feel like that's too dark. What do you think? What do you guys think? George says, do not burn caulk. Okay, I will not burn caulk. And George is having the Evan Williams bottled in bond and Tatuai LLE. Good, excellent. The Tatuai. That's the one that I had, right? The Tatuai. That was good. That was really good. Is a quality pour for the price, but awesome. Fair pour at an old school price. Oh, nice. But my Tat LE will elevate the. All right. So speaking of which, is it too dark? It looks kind of dark. Anyway, let's move on. We're gonna go and get into our cigar of the day, which is the Ashton Heritage Puro Sol Churchill. This cigar, about 2 weeks ago, received a 95-point score from Cigar Aficionado. 95 points. That's not the highest score. The highest score is 99. There's a 99, I think a 98, a 97, 96. But here it is. Churchill, I think it is too. Let me turn up a little bit. Okay, that's more like daylight. Okay. So this is the Puro Sol by Ashton. We're gonna open it up. Of course, the smoke. I don't know if you can see it, but the pattern of the smoke blow is actually running right across my face now. Nature is such a fickle thing. It's always sometimes it's very very helpful. Sometimes it's not. All right. So here we are. Tony wants to know: does Capital still have the LLEs left? And George says they have awarded a 100-point score, but that was for a connoisseur's corner stick. Ah, okay. So here it is. Look at that. Nice looking wrapper. Feels nice and supple. Oh, sweetness, like a sweet manure. Oh, that's actually very pleasant. There we go, Tony. He does have some more left. So you should come down next Saturday and we'll check it out. All right, so I'm going to say we're going to use the cigar form again. Where are we on the grading scale? Okay, so we're right about there for color. Right there for color. And I think I would really say we have sweet manure, which as far as the fragrance, a really nice intensity. So let's go for our cutting. The wrapper looks red too. Yeah, the wrapper looks. I don't know how much, but I look fairly red, I think. So I don't know this iPhone camera when I was doing some photo tests earlier this week or last week at the new shop. I put this light in the new shop just to see what it would look like, and I took some photos with the iPhone and just kind of kept it red. Now I used my regular cameras and did some video tests and then correcting for the white balance of the room, and it was much more natural and neutral. But I don't. I think there might be a little more reddish. Like my face looks fairly red right now. I think there's something about the way the logarithm works on the phone that it's not. It doesn't quite compensate for the white balance for some reason. Okay, so let's cut here. We're gonna cut. Nice. There's our cut. Looks pretty good. That does sound nice. Cold draw, very easy, very free flowing. Also sweetness. There is a part of me that wonders, like, is it going to be too free flowing? Like there's very little resistance with the cold draw. So I wonder how that's going to be as we move to lighting. Got to feed the fire a little bit more. Want to keep it fired up. It looks tasty. It's quite nice so far. Warmer is better. Yes, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Sadly, I may be cooking for a family party, but if not, I will. All right. Well, if you come down, be good to have you. Be good to have you join us. Whoops. All right. Now it's time to light. I wonder if the lightsaber. I filled the lightsaber before we started, so look at that. I think it. Like I kept filling it and filling it. I was like, it doesn't stop. Maybe it just overfilled. Look at that. You can see it coming out. This seems dangerous. All right, let's light up. I'm not going to use that. That seems like playing with fire, right? All right, our jet line. This is actually one of my favorite lighters. It's a phaser looking lighter. It's actually kind of ridiculous. I like these ridiculous lighters just because they're ridiculous. I got this at the trade show, the PCA show, quite a few years ago. And I was really concerned that they were going to, the TSA was going to confiscate it in my bag. So I packed it and I made sure it was empty. And I put a note inside the bag that said it was empty so that they wouldn't take it. Luckily, they didn't. All right, very nice light. Very nice light. Oh, the Acolyte returns. You know, it's not returning. You know that, right? I know you know this. It got canceled. I guess Acolyte was too woke. I don't know because I haven't seen anything past the second episode. I haven't really watched anything at all this summer. Just after the bear, I was kind of like, even trying to watch Star Trek Prodigy. I'm having a hard time watching that just because I just don't really take the time to sit down and watch it. All right, we're starting off nice. Okay, so I will say that fragrance was really pretty. The cold draw, very easy, very easy. I'm a little bit concerned about the easiness of the cold draw. But that fragrance is really pretty. I will say that it's 9. I will say excellent. All right, now we're into the first third. Slap Disney down for their for their mangling of both their major franchises. Well, they seem to do a good job with the Deadpool, right? The new release I saw that. That was actually quite fun. So We're starting off good. There's this particular flavor that I have on my palate that is a familiar cigar flavor that, for lack of a better way of describing it, is kind of ashy, but not necessarily in a negative sense, right? It's a very familiar flavor of tobacco. George says, I love the aroma. I mean, this seems actually quite nice. Like this initial light reminds me of last week's cigar, the LFD Cabinet Number 5, in that it was that, and to me the really interesting thing about the Cabinet Number 5 was that I was in the truck smoking, and the smoke is still in my face, but I'm not feeling phased by it. I'm not like choking on it like I would normally with a lot of cigars. There's a quality that we're just starting into, but there seems to be a quality of this cigar that is similar to that in that respect. Woodsy, George says. I can see that. I can see like maybe a woodsy, light cedary kind of, but very, very light cedar. Like cedar, very, very light. But a woodsy could be a great way to describe that flavor. The smoke so far, the draw is really easy. So it feels, now that it's lit, a little bit tighter than it did when it was on the cold draw. George says, new category of scoring. What are the best cars? I think that cabinet was, you don't have to, like, I wasn't choking on it. That was something that really surprised me with that cigar last week. I think we gave that, what, 85 last week? There's a quality to this cigar that I'm enjoying. Like, I made that last puff, and I was about to puff again, but I decided to hold off because I was thinking, I'm going to start puffing on it too hard. I'm actually enjoying the flavor. I'm enjoying the flavor quite a lot. What kind of helicopter is this? Can you hear that? Some kind of helicopter coming off. George says, beautiful burn. Burn is pretty good. I think it looks nice. Well, he's pretty far up there. If you could hear it, it's got this weird whomp sound to it. Sounds like it could be military. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. What do I know about this? George says 85 is harsh by CA standards, but okay. Yeah, we can't be too easy on cigars here. It has to mean something. That's the problem. That's one of the things that I think that's difficult with being a consumer reading about cigars, is that everything is 90. Like, what does that even mean? To me, if everything is 90, then 90 starts to have less meaning. You know what I mean? George says, I've returned to Foundation. Ah, nice. With the Olmec paired with some Elijah Craig small batch. Oh, lovely, lovely. You have not disappointed us. You have not disappointed us. George, you happen to remember if did Cigar Aficionado rate the Meerfell cigar? I'm curious to know what they might have given the Meerfell, the mayor. Like, if I think about comparisons, this doesn't have the same smoothness that the mayor has. It's burning fairly well, a little bit uneven right now, but that could be because I might be pulling on it quite a hard. And if I pull on a cigar quite a lot, then kind of hard, that's typically because I'm really enjoying it. Well, the problem with this, the problem with having like, you know, construction wood is that it pops out a lot. And because it's, I have to refill a lot, I'm not closing the grate. So the grate's open, so it's stuff's flying out. Probably gonna land on my leg at some point. Not yet, at least in Cigar Aficionado. Preview and Insider. Okay, okay. I wonder how they would rank the Meerfell comparatively. Like, I'm not, if I was to think about comparisons between the two, this does not have the smoothness of the Meerfell mare. It's a little bit rougher as far as how it runs, how the flavor runs on the palate. Not that's a negative thing, but I'm saying comparatively, it is a little bit rougher in my opinion. Tony says 4.5-year-old Romacraft Intemperance BA, AWS #4, and a dietary Pepsi. Excellent, excellent. The 4-year-old Romacraft, lovely. It will make CA eventually, but needs to gain more sales points. What does that mean, sales points? I'm not following. Does it just need to sell more units around the country, or is that to say that Cigar Aficionado only will review cigars that reach a certain quantity of sales? It's good. It's good. Very good. Good. Very good. I hope it's not gonna. I hope this. I just hope this won't turn out like the Padron. What was it 1964 that we smoked on the show, which was really kind of in many respects, I think, a disaster because I've smoked lots of 1964s over the years and have always enjoyed them tremendously. But the one time that I had it on the show, that particular cigar was like the ones that, well, the second Padron that I've ever had that smoked poorly, that didn't have great flavor for some reason. The first one was in 2017. I had one of the Damasos when they first came out. I had it at Liberty Cigar in San Diego, and that was terrible, just absolutely terrible. Like I would never smoke a Damaso. I haven't smoked a Damaso since. It was so bad. And then the one we had on the show, like was it a year or 2 years ago? I was like, man, I was like all excited, expecting like great results, and then it was like, it was like I couldn't believe it. I was so surprised, so surprised. George says number of outlets where it's available. In order to be reviewed, the cigar needs to be a pretty widely. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Back in the day, it needed to reach at least 100 doors. So that would have to say, I mean, yeah, Padron failed. I mean, yeah, it's the only twice. I've only had twice, and I've smoked beautiful Padrones, beautiful Padrones. So I wouldn't say that particular example in the show is emblematic of the brand or the line. It was just, I was just, but I couldn't lie about it. Like I wasn't going to lie about, because I know that they normally do well. It was what we experienced at that moment. So what a shame that was. What a shame. Um, so if it needs 100 retailers, is that to say that perhaps Mirafil will never get reviewed? Because I mean, I don't even think you guys have. I don't think Mirafil's even 50 locations yet in America, or is that worldwide? Could be worldwide. You ought to revisit the Damaso since they have improved. I heard that someone told me, maybe it was Tony, told me a while back that they had reformulated the blend, which they needed to do because that was a horribly bad cigar. Like, and that was when the whole like return of Connecticut wrappers came out, right? And I was smoking quite a few of those Underground shades, which I thought was quite enjoyable. And I was like, oh, Padron's got a Damaso. Let's try it. It does. It does. It does. You know, but I think that the only way to do this with integrity is to be honest about what the experience is. And also, I think it's important to be honest about my personal biases, right? Because as anybody, each of us will have our own personal biases about what we like, what we don't like, what we prefer, what we don't prefer. And hopefully they can be challenged. Like I have been challenged, like on this show, even like early or the first year we did this with that once that especially that one cigar, the little tiny like competition cigar from Rocky Patel. Like I've always kind of been a Rocky Patel, like, oh God, that there can't be anything good from Rocky Patel. Nothing is good. Nothing I've had was good. But that one cigar was actually it was really great until it wasn't. Like there was that point where we were smoking. It was like, oh, this is amazing. This is a delicious, wonderful cigar. And then suddenly it hit a wall. And it was like, oh, what a crying shame. But this smoking so far very nicely, very nicely. Now let's look here. I'm going to grab my computer. I got a laptop out here, and let's see what they have to say. Like I have the link in the description below in case you want to see. So if you go down to the description, you can click on the link, and it's got a link to the page of the article that this comes from. So there's an article in Cigar Aficionado called 13 Long Cigars for the Summer Season. Like now that it's getting nicer weather or whatever, longer days, warmer nights, you can smoke longer without having to worry about hiding from the cold. But George says that speaking of personal biases, this is the Roma Craft Sales Week at Capitol. Oh, and tomorrow I'm pretty sure we'll have a launch. We will launch Lamas. Oh, really? We'll have to talk about that later. Maybe I can reserve a bundle. I had that La Maestranza. Who gave me one? Someone gave me a La Maestranza. Oh, it was our friend Eric. We were together at smoking at his workshop. And he had more wood to the fire. We were smoking at his workshop, and I kind of I enjoyed it. I don't know if it was as it wouldn't be something I would replace the Revenge with, and it was definitely a little bit lighter weight, body wise and force wise than the last craft release, the one that gosh, I've been forgetting names all day long. The brother from Waldorf that he developed with Skip. That was nice, a lot of force. The La Maestranza was a lot mellower, a little bit mellower, a little bit more easy to smoke. Like I could smoke, like the last one, like from Sean. You smoked one, and maybe you might not smoke another one of those for a couple days, just because it was like, okay, that's pretty heavy duty. Open invite to sample. Sorry, everybody else. Supplies limited. One thing about this cigar, it is smoking very well. It's smoking very fast. I feel it's very fast. Like I feel like I'm starting to plow through this. We're only at 45 minutes into the show, and I'm wondering, like, will this last until 10 o'clock? So let's see here. Uh, so as they do in Cigar Aficionado, they say that every cigar rated by a CA is smoked blind by our panel of editors. The tasting coordinator removes the cigars identifying bands and replaces them with plain white numbered labels before handing them out. Members of the tasting panel have no idea what they're smoking, and cigars are evaluated without biases such as price, country of origin, or brand. And actually, now that I said that, like I said, I smoked the Bellicoso last week, with George at the cigar tasting, the blind cigar tasting at Capitol. I think that Bellicoso was a little bit smoother than this one. Like there's a slight roughness to this, and not necessarily a negative roughness, but like I remember the Bellicoso being very smooth and a little bit more composed than this one. George says that La Mastranza is another entry in the Skip Marquette lineup. Yes, yes. The lightweight heavy from Sean. That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that lightweight heavy was nice. That was nice. But I couldn't smoke like multiple days of that in a row. That was not. Yeah, the ash is nice. The ash is nice. I want to tap it. I want to tap it. I'm going to let it fall. I'm actually going to turn it over this way so that perhaps it'll level out. Oh, see, like that. Like if I remember from my notes, our discussion last week, there was a bit of on the Bellicoso, there's a bit of a citrusiness to it. Is that right? I don't really perceive that with this one. Like it is a little bit of a different, it is a different, to me, it's a different cigar experience. Pleasant and enjoyable, but different than that Bellicoso. And the fire burns quickly. Oh, here's another one with caulking. Move that caulk. Remove that caulk. Ouch. Okay, add a little more. Faintness of bready. This, I would say, still retains the breadiness. It's very pleasant. It's very enjoyable. I'm almost tempted to say that we have reached the first third. So I would say the body, very good body, more medium body. It's not a heavy cigar. Okay, let's look back here. So the Ashton Heritage Puro Sol Churchill, they say in the article, when first released, the Heritage Soul featured a Cameroon wrapper. Today it's covered in the leaf of Ecuador Havana. And the change may have been for the better as this cigar rated 95 points to classic status. An array of leather, toasted almond, cashew, and orange peel obtains sublime harmony before sweet caramel finish. You know what? That's the thing. Like maybe that breadiness can be, give some attributing to the toasted almond and cashew. But unlike that Bellicoso that we smoked last week, I'm not getting that orange peel. I'm getting more of that bready, maybe nutty. They also have full tasting notes. So 6 3/4 by 48. They say medium strength, which I would agree with. Dominican filler and binder with Ecuadorian Havana wrapper. $13.30 MSRP. So I think fairly reasonably priced as a cigar. And previous reviews, so 95 points that they did in April of 2024. This cigar was also rated on January 1st of 2022 and got 92 points. June 1st, 2021 got 94. And April 1st, 2019, it received 87. So it's always been a very high scoring cigar. Now, it did say that, the switch from the Cameroon to the Ecuador Havana was a very good thing. But, if the switch happened let's say the switch happened after June 2021. It's only really, it did dip for a year to from 94 to 92 before coming back to 95 this year. But 94 to 95, is that really a tremendous jump? At least it maintained. To me, it maintained, so that's a very good thing. They don't really give any other notes. All they say is brimming with flavor and complexity. This Churchill stays in sublime balance. The smoke is impressive with its range. The smoke is impressive in its range with notes of leather, toasted almond, orange peel, cashew, and a caramel finish. I think it's more about. I think it just could be what you might have tasted the day of your cigar. So maybe nuts and breadiness, but that orange peel is missing today. It was totally there during the Bellicoso last week. Maybe we can bump it up with a little bit of our Kohi Mizuwari, which is actually a really fun tasting drink. This tastes better than it did this morning. That could be because I'm not as hammered as I was this morning. I was kind of drinking up quite a bit. Like I went to lunch with my mom and my niece during the live stream. My mom calls me. She's like, "Hey, do you want to come to lunch with us?" And I was like, "All right," but I can't drive. So come on, I think we're past the first third. So let us grade this. So we got medium intensity for our body, and like I said very good plus. So I'm gonna say 875. Flavor, we're getting the bready notes, maybe some nuttiness. It's pleasant, but I would have to say, I think still very good plus. Like I'm that's what I come up with. Like I tend to think of scoring in terms of descriptors, right? Describing my experience. So for these categories, 8 is very good, 7 is good, 6 is average, 9 is excellent, and then 10 is extraordinary. 9s are hard. Like I think very good plus. So 875 would be like very good plus plus. But my reaction to the flavor and the body is not excellent. Like I don't think about this. This is excellent. This is amazing. This is excellent. I think very good. If you're going to make a habit of these outdoor shows, we will need to upgrade. Well, I do have a bit. I do need to upgrade. Actually, I was trying to get some more. I had to go cut some down. I didn't do any firewood harvesting this summer, but I have all this construction material that I'm going to burn through because what am I going to do with it? Throw it away? That seems like a waste. Actually, I even have these things like this. My car indoor filter. I'm going to toss that in right now. Burn away, baby. Hopefully that's not toxic. It's probably, I think it's paper, right? Paper. It's burning now. It's burning fast. Like it's disintegrating. It's probably synthetic. Good thing the smoke is not coming my way. Oh yeah, that does not look like paper. That, good thing the smoke is not coming here. That is, this cigar was done by 9:30. I know. What time is it now? Good Lord. We've done it before. We can make it happen. We can make it happen. We are cigar professionals here or something like that. Let's make outdoor pizza if I bring you some hickory. All right, we can do that. I believe you're probably Nika. You know, is it? I don't know. Is the Mirfell a Nicaraguan blend? Right? Is that? It's Canary Islands wrapper, right? I don't know. I really enjoyed that Bellicosa we had last week. Like that was great. Like I thought my reaction to that cigar is better than my reaction to this one. Like I was very enthusiastic about smoking that cigar. This one is good, very good. It's very good. Oh yeah, the way that filter's burning, it's not really paper. Huh. Yeah, I probably am. Goodness, getting killed because I'm cheap. Oh gosh, it's like popping in a strange way and making these weird noises. Goodness, ouch, son of a. You need to put more wood to protect myself. To cover up that whatever that elephant is. Yeah, this is going pretty fast, which is, the fact that it's going fast is some testimony to how much I'm actually enjoying it. Like I am enjoying the cigar quite a lot. I just don't, I just wouldn't describe it as in the categories as excellent for it. Mirfell is 100% genuine African Cameroon wrapper. But is it also Cameroon filler and binder? It's like burning a tristle. Yeah, this is actually worse than a Christmas tree. Like I probably should never have put that. I should definitely not have put the filter in there. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. I should have realized that it wasn't a paper product when it's been sitting in the back of my truck for the last 2 weeks, getting rained on and not disintegrating. Luckily, the fumes, I don't think, are coming to me. But that popping is really from that I have more wood here that has like nails and stuff on it. The problem with this kind of fire is that you just have these pieces of planks and stuff, and so you're just tossing them in there. They're just laying flat. They're not really getting air around them, so they're not really burning like with force. And you know me, I like to burn with force. You might be smoking. I mean, I'm smoking fast. I would definitely say I'm smoking fast, but mainly because I'm enjoying it. Oh, blended fill is mostly deer. See, there it is. I wouldn't. That's why I'm saying like I don't. I definitely have a preference. I do have some preference for Nicaraguans, right? Like my revenge is a Nicaraguan. But I think that. But like I said last week with the Flor Dominicana, the cabinet number 5, is that I really enjoyed that cigar like tremendously, and the fact that I can smoke it and not have the smoke, I have the smoke in my face, but not feel like I'm choking, is a great testament to that cigar. But like the Revenge, when we had the Revenge on the show, the Revenge didn't get high scores. It got good scores. It didn't get high scores. Like when I say high, it didn't get over 90, and that's my favorite cigar for the last several years. All right, let me use my tools. I'm gonna turn it a little bit. I've been buying fire tools from Temu because they're cheap. And I got this bellows. I think I've showed you guys this earlier this year. $6. It's fairly cheaply made, but you know, I think it'll work. It does have the, but I haven't had the occasion really. I mean, I haven't burned a lot of fire this summer, so I haven't really used it. I haven't had the problems that we had early on with the fire, with the lighting of the fire. So George says my Tat LLE Lonsdale Lancero shape is not even halfway yet. So I judge you to be, yeah, definitely going fast. Like we're only an hour. Well, you know, I probably would smoke normally without the show. The show normally on the show on the normally I'll make a cigar last 2 hours on this show, which is a lot longer than I tend to smoke normally. Like when I'm hanging out with the guys, I think I do about a cigar an hour, more or less, more or less. Tony says, Brian says, based on the amount of repeating yourself, maybe you should step away from the fire. Am I repeating myself a lot? Do you really think that I'm getting like some kind of chemical inhalation? I will be seeing my PCP. Maybe I am. My not PCP, but my, what do you call it? The primary, yeah, PCP, primary care provider. Yeah, PCP. I'm seeing my PCP tomorrow. So at least I have some way of staving off like complete illness. George says, you outed yourself with a fire this week. Luckily for your neighbors, we've had plenty of rain. Well, it's not really going crazy. I should show you. It's not really going crazy. It just sounds like it's going crazy. Look at that. Like it's not really big, right? I burned through most of the wood that's here. So we're going to go back, and then I've got some more like woods there. But you can see on this one plank that's up, that's on top, that's what the filter was burning on, because it's got that weird like black stuff on it. It's probably contributing to my demise. Yeah, gosh, I'm going to run out. What are we going to do if I run out? Now I'm far enough away from the fire to avoid getting, you know, chemical inhalation that I can not really feel the heat. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Everything you just showed us is toxic. You mean this wood is toxic? Why is it toxic? It's just pine. Just lumber pine. There is some that has paint on it, like latex paint. Is latex paint bad when it burns? Should probably drink more. That is a good idea. Got my fancy glass. We are getting into dark times. Paint, all kinds of chemicals. I don't think there's chemicals in lumber, in like regular pine. There's what chemicals? I mean, I know that there's chemicals in like pressure treated. I don't have any. There's no pressure treated lumber here. There's a pallet that I broke up and a bunch of trimming that I had painted and some trim that we had pulled off of the building. Oh, then again, maybe that some of that trim from the building could be lead paint because it's kind of old. It's probably bad. No doubt, no doubt. I'll have to talk to her about it. Be like, hey. I always have kind of trepidation about going to see my PCP. What is she going to say? Hey, you're too fat. Okay. You haven't lost you haven't lost enough weight. I know it has. I've kind of plateaued. I lost a bit, and I feel like I plateaued. I think someone said to me the metabolism is catching up to you, so you need to like kickstart it. Now that the weather's cooler, I have been thinking I need to get the bike out and go cycling a bit. So how's your guys' week been? Anything been happening? Anything interesting? We've been here, and yeah, I haven't smoked. I haven't smoked cigars all week long. I saw Brian and Bud the other night. We had a cigar. Then a couple times I was going to go out and have a cigar, and then I was just working on some stuff. I was like, I just gotta keep it. Just suddenly, by the time I was like, I would think about it, like, hey, what's everyone doing? And then I go back to working on something, and then come back, and the next time I look up, it's like, oh my gosh, it's already like 10:30. It's like, forget that then. Time to bed. Rusty says, side note, will you be going to Amy's Maryland Opera concert 2 weeks from tomorrow? If so, I'll send something down with her for you. If not, I have to mail. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Have her. I did planning. It's what, September 6th? Is that right? I don't remember the date, but I have it in my mind to go. So that means that you're not coming down, right, Rusty? If you would text me like maybe later the details again, I will make sure that I presume it's with Maryland Opera, and I think you said it's at Bordy Vineyards. So that's a good thing for everyone else. If you want to go, let's go to Bordy Vineyards when Rusty's wife is here. We can go and watch. She's a wonderful soprano opera singer, just amazing. Was featured at the Metropolitan Opera in New York before, and is traveling the world doing shows and just wowing audiences everywhere she goes. So I always try to go to the shows when she's in town. Luckily, the maestro of the Maryland Opera is very much a fan of hers as well. So he likes to bring her to town, and it gives us an opportunity to hear some great music. Another thing that's happening this weekend is one of my good friends, Ramon Camarillo, is a musician from Hawaii. He's a ukulele artist. He's actually coming to on Sunday. He's actually in town already, but he's in town. He's going to be performing Sunday noon at a place called Don and Claire's Beach Shack in Falls Church, Virginia. I've got some friends. We're going to meet up down there and go hang out for a couple hours, listen to some Hawaiian music. And I don't know if you guys have interest, but if anyone has time, come down. That'll be a nice time. Yes, 9/6. Okay, great. It definitely is in my mind. You have school that day, 9/6. Is that a Friday? Oh, that's a Friday, isn't it? Because I'm pretty sure that's a Friday because I think Saturday the 7th was the day that my aunt was like, we're going to go out for my birthday. And I was like, okay. Her birthday's on the 6th. So, okay, I got to make sure I remember that too. So I'm going to say we're kind of at the end of the second third. And I think it's been performing very good, very well, very consistent so far. I mean, there has been no degradation of it. It's been very consistent. So, I mean, really, we're at the same point, 875. Just calculating the score as we go along. So right now with 9, 875, 875, 875, 875, we're at 44 points total. Yeah, if you have time, come on out. So I'll be there from like I'm planning to be there by noon. Probably be there till about 2:30, and then I have to go to meet some other friends in DC. Actually, at a place in DC, and they wanted me to come down to. So should be a nice time. Should be a real nice time. All right, let's add some more wood to this sucker. See, look at this. This is some just regular old pine, like this old pine. Well, looks like old pine, or maybe this is all pine from like, or just kind of wood from a pallet. I don't think it's terrible. Like I am getting a little bit of a burn issue there. I'm gonna touch it up. See that right there? Definitely a good breadiness to it. So if there is a problem with the chemicals of the wood, you'll know there's a problem if we don't have the live stream tomorrow, because then I will have some kind of like arrest. I knock that off there. What else been happening in the news? I know there's a the DNC, right? The Democrat National Congress or Committee convention is happening in Chicago. I don't know if you guys have watched that. I have not watched anything. I just don't really get into like spending time watching politics. Like it's not like I have a question about which way I'm going to go this year. It's like, oh, I already know. It's like, do I need to like listen to that stuff? No, I don't really need to listen to it. Tony says your jet line is a little uneven. Yeah, so there's some controls here, right? So there's this trigger, so you can. I don't know. It feels a little bit hard to press in today. So there's a safety. You push this down, and then you push it forward, right? And then you can lock it on. Then on the other side, there is this kind of like changes from 1 to 2, and then this kind of controls the intensity. Not that that's not really doing anything. So let's close. How do we turn this off? Okay, there we go. Turn off. Is the act performing a clearance called Ramon and Kamaka? Yes, absolutely. Ramon Camarillo. He's actually like a ukulele virtuoso. Like he plays as his talent on ukulele is as good as Jake Shimabukuro or even Tamure, right? He's really like awesome. And he's kind of weird because he like when he learned how to play ukulele, he didn't learn like most people who took lessons. He kind of figured it out on his own. So his tuning of the strings is completely whacked. So he's hoarding. Like if you try to play with him, like we used to play together, and I would try to follow him. Like, dude, I don't even know what you're playing. He's like, it's B. I was like, well, B is not what you're holding. He's like, yeah, but it's B. I was like, oh, all right. So you can't follow him. I mean, I'm not good enough to follow him. Like musician wise, I'm a terrible musician. I'm very like chalang-a-lang basic kind of musician. And my friends are much better, so they can follow. But yes, he's excellent, worth going to. Tony's heard him. You know, he used to play with the Aloha Boys many years ago. Soft flame. All right, we'll do a soft flame. Challenge accepted. Actually, I've been using a soft flame. I have a Jeep in the car that I've been using quite a lot. Actually, I used that last week, didn't I? The Jeep. I think I used that to light the last week's cigar because I don't have a torch in the car. I do have a torch, but the torch is like empty, and I got a couple matchboxes, but I think I used it last week. So yes, I will use it more. Tony says those little boys' days, those are good times. They were good times, good times, good times. I just saw the boys about a month ago or so. They were having a performance also in Virginia. Had a real nice time hanging with those guys. Actually, I shot video of it. I've been planning to put the video online for people to watch, kind of like as an extra on the channel. There's actually a couple. There's actually a couple videos I've been thinking about doing that I've shot that I haven't had the time to edit to put together. One of them's for my barber. She was telling me before that she wanted to do YouTube, and I was like, let's shoot a video and we'll put it up and see how it does. So basically, it's me just sitting in a chair while she's cutting my hair, and she's just talking about what she does. She's cutting, why she's cutting. More car cigar action. We will have more car cigar action for for sure. I really wanted last week to be in a position where you guys could see the game more. Unfortunately, they don't really allow smoking at the stadium, so it's like I would have to put myself in a position where security would see me and probably kick me out. So I was like, well, that doesn't do us any good if we get kicked out. But, one day we're going to do some more. Yeah, so we've done that at Salisbury. We did a car episode from LA, and we did one in Hilo, Hawaii a couple years ago. That was always, those are kind of fun. They're kind of fun. Now I've got it set up. Now I've got, like the last one we have, the one we did in Hilo was a little bit difficult because I was just kind of setting the phone. But I used the camera. I used the camera connected to this laptop. And then I was running this laptop tethered to my phone so they would transmit it. But now that I have this new iPhone 15, it actually is really good at doing this. So it's really made it easier. So that's if when I was in LA, we used this setup, and I think in LA I had the window mount, which really makes it a lot easier to mount because the other one was just kind of sitting on the dashboard. George Shem says that can you do the soft flame episode in a hot tub in Deep Creek? We may be doing that. My friends want to go back to Deep Creek in February, so they're talking about doing that. If we have that again, we will certainly do that again. Although maybe we won't do that because they were talking about going to Deep Creek on a Friday instead of Thursday. I was telling them we should go Thursday so I could do that again, but I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know what they're scheduling. I'm not really, and the girls take care of all that. I don't. They just tell me when it's time to go, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I will be there. I prefer the girls to make all the plans because if the boys make the plans, we'll forget something, and then they'll get upset. So it's like, just you guys plan it, and we'll go. Like, I don't. I don't need to I don't need to involve myself in it. Okay. The fire's going nicely, but it's time to add more to it. Whoops. Shoot, something fell in my hair. The hot tub crime machine. Yeah, man, that time was brutal. That was a brutal, brutal show. Like, I couldn't take it. That hot tub, I think when we started was 115 degrees, maybe 120 degrees. And and just in that 15 minutes that we were streaming, man, it dropped to like 90. It was negative 15 that night. It was so brutal. Like, it was brutal. Like, just I couldn't take it anymore. It's like, this is just dumb. hopefully it won't be as hot, as cold. And then my friends at that same trip, right, they were like, they're not really outdoors people. Like I'm probably the most outdoorsman. Well, no. There's two other friends that are much more athletic than I am. They're more fit. They do a lot of like urban hiking and stuff like that. But they wanted to go hiking in the woods on this trail. Man, it's brutally cold. It's snow. It was snowing in Deep Creek that weekend. And they were like, "We're all gonna go hiking," and I was like, "Are you gonna come?" And I'm like, I got all the gear, right? I got the gear from many years ago. I got the right boots. I got everything, layers. I could go out there and be all right. I didn't bring trekking poles though, and I was like, hell no, I'm not going out there. It's too brutally cold. Like I know what it's like to camp in the winter. I'm not gonna go out there in that weather. That was craziness. So they went, they were like, "Can you give us a ride to the trailhead?" I said, "Sure." Well, I was in the truck, and I drive all the way down to the trailhead. And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to be at the house. If you guys need to get out, just call me." Man, like an hour, maybe like 40 minutes, 20, 30, 40 minutes later, some of the girls call me. They're like, "Can you come get us?" It's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll go pick them up." But there was only like 3 or 4 of them. The rest of the crew was on the mountain, on this mountain not too far away. It went terribly. Getting lost. Like, they were they were totally screwed out there. They were totally hosed. I was like, you guys are crazy. It's one thing when it comes to adventuring, you got to know your limits. Like I know what I will be capable of doing. I will not be doing that. And you've seen those trails, right? You've probably seen those videos from like China. Those where these guys are like walking on these really narrow trails, but on the side of like this granite mountain, and there's this 2,000 foot plunge to the side, and the trail is only like that big. This girl I know, man, she went and did that. She kind of like didn't know she was getting into it, but she's very athletic. So she was telling me that. I was like, oh my God, man, I can't believe you made it. Like, I would be like, I'm going back. I don't care. Like, I don't care what happened. I'm not even going to try that. Like, I don't need that kind of story. George Shem says, I'll take heat over cold any day of the week. Yeah, I hear you on that. I actually bought a when we had Prime Day, I went out and bought one of those power banks, those big power banks, because I'm like, man, I haven't gone camping in a long time because I use the CPAP machine. I'm like, I need a big battery for my CPAP so I can return to the woods. So I think this winter I'm going to do that. I personally, when it comes to camping, I prefer winter. I don't like summer camping at all because to me it's too hot. Like in the winter, I got a tent. I actually got a 20-degree bag. Like I got a hardcore sleeping bag. I got everything I need to be warm in the cold. But summer camping, you can only get so naked. Like it's just too to me. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy being out in the heat too much. I enjoy being out in the heat, like just to hang out and talk, and it's much more chill. But like to camp, man, I don't know. I want to be in the cold where there's no bugs, right? There's no like ticks because the ticks are dead or sleeping, whatever they do in the wintertime. There's no leaves. And George says, I cannot empty, cannot enjoy. Yeah, so that's definitely, there's definitely a lot of truth to that. Like it's a lot more difficult to do, to be outside. Enjoy. That's why summertime, man, I prefer to be out. I agree with you on that. Like I'm all summer, man. I much prefer to be outdoors. Like I want to be outdoors, just chilling. The weather's nice. Smoke my cigar outside because of course, it was too hot. I can't. I don't know about that either. George says that I was raised by one of the members of the Mallory Everest expedition. Oh, nice, man. That's awesome. Those guys are like hardcore, man. I'm not by no means am I even close to that. I have got vast boots. That's about as hardcore as I can get. Tony, you've mastered that issue, the shed. That is true. He's got the hardcore shed very nicely done. That's what we should do, George, one day is head up to Tony's place and have a cigar there. Uh-oh. I'm burning a good amount of wood. Yeah, like I said, the DNC is having their convention. I haven't really watched any of it. Although I've been engaging with some friends that are like, I don't really understand some of the points people are making. Like this one person I know, she's like, "Oh, there's this thing. There's this today." She was like, "I don't know why she's messaging me." She messaged me and like she's like, she puts out this post. She's like, there's Fox News reported this was reporting about this report that was released by the MRC, I think it was called, which is a very conservative research organization, and they said that the mainstream media is, I think, 89% favorable towards, or 94%, 98% favorable to Kamala Harris, and 84% negative to Donald Trump. And I was like, interesting. And she's, trying to say about the media being false witnesses. She's very religious, right? Very Christian. And I'm like, well, I told her, you're getting gaslit. You're being gaslit by these people. Like Fox News wants to gaslight you from this report from the MRC because you should know. I mean, of course, yes, they're going to be nicer to Kamala than they're going to be to Trump because, Trump has Breitbart, Fox News, and OAN and whatever other news organization. And then she was like, then she messaged me. She's like, well, this Stormy Daniels thing. And she was talking about Bill Maher. So Bill Maher evidently in 2008 interviewed Stormy Daniels. And Stormy Daniels in 2008 was like, I was not coerced. I had sex with Donald Trump. I did it fully willingly. And all these people want to make me into the Me Too movement. And yeah, I can see that people, in the Me Too, that was 2018 was the Me Too era, which is a real thing. Like that whole thing with the president of that production company, Weinstein, that's for real. Like I worked in Hollywood. I worked for Hollywood. I saw it myself. Like if you were a good looking woman, you wanted to get ahead, you had to do a little bit more than just have talent. I mean, the directors my first film that I worked on, Major League 2, directors talked openly about how Sharon Stone had to do favors to get her like ups in Hollywood that helped propel her to fame back in those days. So that's all really real. Like I saw it myself, and Stormy Daniels, saying all that. That's fine, whatever. And then later, there's a video evidently that Mayor's talking today in 2024 how after her testimony to the court in the lawsuit that she's like, well, he kind of pressed himself, and I'm like, well, what is? And I'm asking her like, what is the issue? Is it the issue that you're that she's being, because she's like, the media is bearing false witness, and I'm like, well, the thing that I pull out of that is like, you're very religious. Christianity and Jesus are supposedly very central to your core, to your being, to everything that you like to quote the Bible for a lot of reasons that you're trying to rationales you're trying to give. But this is a guy that, in the testimony that we're looking at, knowingly and intentionally violated the seventh commandment. Like Exodus 20:14 is very clear that adultery is not something that Christians are supposed to tolerate. And so really I asked her, I said to her in the post, I was like, This is someone that actually intentionally committed adultery, who says he's going to grab him by the pussy and take what he wants. How do you, as a Christian, how do you go along with that? Oh, gosh. Then she was like, well, I'm not going to address, things that are being manipulated. I was like, I'm not manipulating. It is the tenet of Christianity, Catholicism, which is the originators of Christianity. So I don't know. Crazy people. Crazy people. Stormy Daniels was paid for that appearance on Mayor's show, which tells you everything you need to know. But I would think that if she was being paid to be on Mayor, I would think that Mayor, who I believe is generally anti-Trump, would want her to be more like, oh yeah, he totally coerced me and he totally, raped me. But she didn't say that. She went along with it very willingly because I think she even said in the interview that it would help her career. Like she thought that would help because he was going to put her on The Apprentice and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. George is heading out. Big day tomorrow. I'm out. All right, man. Have a great day out there. Good luck with the 1,200 students. Oh, that's what I said to her. I said to her, like, if you can, I said to her, like, if you're someone that can denounce Bill Clinton for, how do I use these terms? If you can denounce Bill Clinton for fellatio outside of his marriage, how is it that you can laud Trump for having coitus outside his marriage? I don't think she liked that. And I don't know why people want to argue politics with me. I don't really like to talk politics with people. I don't really post about politics that much. But people evidently, invariably do. And I always challenge people. Like I'll challenge you if you really push it. And I'm like, well, what kind of source do you have? Show us your source. And people really don't like to show their sources. I think I might have said this on the live stream. I don't get it. Like if you're going to talk about a position, support it. I think I'm very willing to read your sources and consider your viewpoint. But if you're just kind of spouting off with nonsense with no support whatsoever, like all these people that are still arguing about that guy Waltz, that governor, it's like he abandoned his unit. Dude, the guy retired. God, when you want to retire from your job, you don't give a damn about what happens 6 months from then. They're like, I'm out of here, man. I want to retire. I did my time. George says that Bill Mayer is a libertarian, but a New Yorker, so he knows Trump intimately. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck tomorrow. So we're rolling. Wow, hour 34. I can't believe it already. George says, got to bounce, but not for political reasons. Good night, all. Hope to see you all soon. We'll look forward to seeing you at least next week. Twice, maybe next week. If you can make it down to Sunday, come on down. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I think you're right, but I don't know if we're going to make it all the way. The fire is still burning. As you can see, we cut back the bush here. It was kind of off-putting because we trimmed it back, and then now there's actually a lot more space. Like it really came out farther. It's not able to reach the top, so it's a little bit crazy on the top. I'll check it tomorrow, see your final score. All right, check it. Come on, check it in. I think it'll be. I think it'll be a solid score. I don't. I just. I just don't. Well, I mathematically, I don't even think it'll reach 90 now. The burn's a little bit uneven there, and I think I've been, smoking a little bit slower. So I saw the Deadpool movie. Did I say this last week? I went to see Deadpool Wolverine. Actually, I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I know I'm not a big, I'm a Marvel fan, but I'm a Marvel movie fan, right? I'm MCU kind of fan. So I'm not a Marvel comics fan. So I didn't, it's not like some of my cousins grew up reading Marvel and DC. They're really Marvel guys more than DC. And I realized that just because I know of the X-Men, that Wolverine wears that yellow suit. So I realized during the movie that when he put the yellow suit on, that was like a significant moment. Like I had to ask my cousins the other week, last weekend. I was like, when he put the suit on, that's pretty significant for you guys, right? They're like, yeah, that was like awesome. Like, all right, just a yellow suit to me. But I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I don't know if I would. I might have talked about this because I remember. I think I told you guys that I wouldn't pay to go watch it a second time. But I thought it was fairly good. Worth going to see in the theater. I was thinking about going to see Romulus. Romulus, the new Alien movie. I just never got around to it. I was looking online to see what's in the movie theaters or something worth going to watch. And, I like Aliens, but I'm not a big fan. Like, I'm not like, it wasn't like, it wasn't the milestone movie when we were younger for me personally. It's like the Beetlejuice, right? Like, I know people are very excited about Beetlejuice 2 or whatever the number is, the Return of Beetlejuice. I wasn't really a big fan of Beetlejuice. So I was like, even back then, I was like, something about Michael Keaton. I'm not really a big fan. Like, I thought he was very pouty as Batman. Like, I wasn't a big fan of him as Batman. I was like, Batman. I like Christian Bale as Batman. Ben Affleck I didn't think was too bad as Batman. A little more edgy. A little more edgy. Tony says, just like Captain America raising that's Thor's hammer and calling Avengers Assemble. Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. I get it. I mean, I get it. I did think that Captain America grabbing Thor's hammer was pretty awesome. I was like, that's awesome. Oh, and the reveal that Chris Evans is back in Deadpool, that was pretty awesome too. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But he wasn't. But he was Johnny Storm, right? Is that from the Fantastic Four? He reprised that role. That was pretty good. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then they have that new movie coming out soon, the new Captain America with I want to say it's Mahershala Ali, but that's not right. It's the other guy that took over the role. That looks interesting. Harrison Ford evidently is going to be the villain in that movie. I don't know if there's ever been a movie with Harrison Ford as a villain. Like, I don't recall any like, he's usually the protagonist rather than antagonist. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but if you guys remember, I'd be interested to know, like, when when was Harrison Ford the bad guy in a movie? The pile is getting low, but I might have put too much wood in there, so it's kind of choking it. All right, that's just it. Yeah, I can't think of Harrison as a bad guy. I always thought it was a shame that he was never too fond of being Han Solo. Like over the years, he's never really been enthusiastic about it. And he always wanted to kill Han. Finally got his way in that prequel or the sequel series. Although I did hear that they're going to read. There's talk. Disney was talking about nullifying that from the canon, the Ray series, and redoing it. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was something I heard. Something. Tony says that the cheating movie from the '90s, that he was a cheater in the movie. Is that the Working Girl? Is that the one with is that Sigourney Weaver and the blonde-haired girl? I liked him as Linus in that movie Sabrina. Oh, I really liked that movie Sabrina. I know that was a remake, but I really enjoyed that one. What do you guys think about the lighting? How's it look? Does it look fairly natural? I mean, there's a part of me that's like, it's a little bit blinding from my position. No, he wasn't a villain in Working Girl. Okay. What, he was in a cheating movie? And now I'm going to open up the laptop and see what movies Harrison Ford was in. I'm going to open it up here and see what it says. My laptop is really getting wonky. It's a 2013 laptop, so it's like 11 years old. And it gets wonky because it doesn't want to log into the network. Like it just keeps searching and searching and searching. So I think it might be getting a little bit old in the tooth now. All right, here we go. Harrison Ford. Where is his Wikipedia? 82 years old, same age as my dad. Filmography. Let's go to the whole thing. I remember this movie. In 1978, he was in The Force 10 from Navarone. I remember that. I liked him in that movie. Okay, let's see here. American Graffiti, more American Graffiti, Return of the Jedi, Witness. No, Witness was the Amish movie. Mosquito Coast, Frantic, Presumed Innocent. Maybe that was it. Presumed Innocent. Regarding Henry, The Fugitive, Clear and Present Danger, Sabrina, The Devil's Own, 6 Days, 7 Nights, Random Hearts, What Lies Beneath, Firewall, Crossing Over, Extraordinary Measures, Morning Glory, Cowboys and Aliens. Oh, I didn't know he was in Cowboys and Aliens. Do any of those sound familiar? He's got 2 movies coming out next year. Captain America: Brave New World, that's in 2025, and then a movie called Thunderbolts. I don't know what that's about. God, 82, he's still making movies. That guy is crazy. Amazing. I think we're getting down to the end of it. It's been a good cigar. Very, very good. You know who I haven't seen tonight? We haven't seen Steven or Craig. I'm surprised. Usually Steven joins us by now. All right, I can probably no longer hold on to this, and the wrapper's starting to come off. All right, let me get rid of that. All right, how's our drink? Our drink is still holding up. It must be fairly chilly because look at this. There's still ice left in here. That's actually very enjoyable. It's kind of chug-a-luggish. All right, let's score up here. Let's score up here and see where we are. I'm going to say it was fairly consistent. You know, we're saying 875, 875. So that's another 17.5, 11, 61. The burn and draw has been the draw's been excellent. The burn has burned a little bit unevenly. So I'm going to say 875 for the burn and draw. It has been very consistent. So I'm going to say excellent for consistency. So that gives us 17.75. Overall, I'll say 875 overall. Which gives us a total score of 88. Oh, there's Steven. What's up, Steven? Stuck in the rainy weather, driving home from work tonight. Oh, man, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. So 88 score. So I would say that's very good. Very good. Let me pull up the scoring system here and see where that places us. So 88 puts it fairly up there. Actually, 88 gives it the number 2 position for 2024. Only bested by the Eladio Diaz 70th anniversary, which we did back in May, that got 89.5. So we have not broken a 90 over the last, or in 2024, right? So that's, I don't know if you can see that. It's probably too blown out, but. So I'd say that's very good, very good. Followed after that, the next one, the third position is at 86.75 was the Drew Estate Liga Privada 10th anniversary, and then tied in fourth place at 86.25 is both the Romacraft Cro-Magnon EMH Clovis and the Osgener Family Armas 55. And then tied for fifth place is at 85.75 is the La Galera 1936 El Lector Toro and the Tatuai PCA 2023. So those are our top ones. And pretty much everything is in the 80s all the way down. We only have 4 cigars that we've rated this year that are below 80. So fairly good overall. I think the number set way down the OVTC El Regalo Cubano R Robusto, which we did at the beginning of the month, 77.5. Apostate number 2, the Deseret, was 77. The Tatuai 10th anniversary Capa Especial was 75.5. And at the bottom, rounding out the year at 68 points, was the Cusano 18 Maduro Churchill. So fairly good, I think. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for today, I think, that we've got. a good showing, I think, by the Ashton Heritage Puro Sol Churchill. I did, like I said earlier, I think I did smoke the Bellicoso last week of the Heritage Puro Sol, which I thought was a little bit better. It had the same kind of bready notes. It didn't have a little bit of roughness that was on this cigar, and it had a bit of a citrusy note to it. Like they talked about in the review from Cigar Aficionado, there was a citrusy note. This particular Churchill did not have that. So, as always, your mileage may vary. Your interpretation will be very different can be very different than mine. But all right, that's it for this week. Back again next week. I do have some cigars we've got lined up here. I got to figure out what we're going to do for the coming weeks. Let's see what we have in here. I still have the God of Fire. I want to bring that to the show at some point. The God of Fire in Robusto shape should be interesting. And we've already done this one, I think. The Sean Coleman. Did we do that? Maybe we haven't. Oh yeah, we did. Sean. Oh, actually, so we smoked the Sean Coleman while we were at Capitol back in February, but I didn't score it because it was a whole party there, so it wasn't really the place to. Perhaps we'll do this in a few weeks, and then I've got this old school Cro Magnon. What I want to do with this one is actually get the same size. This is the Robusto. I want to get the new Robusto and go head to head with them. I have found that I think it's the Robusto and the new version of the Cro Magnon that I've liked the best of that new version, the Pennsylvania Broadleaf. So I would like to do those head to head and like give a comparison as we go to that. So that's we're going to do in the future. Um, yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much for tuning in. We're going to sign off now. 1 hour 52 minutes, a little bit early, but making up for last week. Let me go a little bit over. So back again next Thursday for the Thursday Night Hang. Great to have you guys tonight. And I'll be back again next week with more coffee and cigars. So have a great one. Mom, always good to see you as well. And yeah, see you later.